and outdoors. Once again, of course, alongside the Hall of Famer Calvin Murphy, Adam Wexler here with you. And Calvin, as we watch this one unfold tonight, the first half to the second half, a similar issue that we kept discussing throughout the night. They could not find any offense to try to cut into a lead that they weren't playing from behind much in this series, but they certainly were tonight.
Heartbreak Hotel, my brother. This game is not indicative of the team that played this season. Unfortunately, our offense was stymied tonight. I don't know if it was good defense or the fact that they tried too hard to start this game. We missed 4 or 5 easy gimmies around the basket, just trying, a little too hard to push the offense at them quickly. Now, with that being said, they only scored 103 points. So our defense didn't falter whatsoever. Of course, you shouldn't let Buddy Hield have that kind of a game. But when you're trying to stop Steph and he moves the ball around, the good teams step up to the curb. And this is what they did against the Rockets tonight. That's
why they'll be moving on. Buddy Hield did have a monster game, especially in the first half. Allowed Steph Curry to wait until the fourth quarter. Something else Calvin said to expect. He would probably do his damage in that fourth quarter, which he did. For the Rockets, Amen Thompson, first postseason experience, and certainly tonight and in Game 6, that was fun. Presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Whenever the Rockets had push in this game, Calvin, it usually was because of number one.
First of all, I'm very, very, very proud of that young man. Not only did he have a very good game tonight, but this is what he did all season. If it wasn't offensively, we talk so much about his defense throughout the year. So he took another step closer to being a star in this league by bringing his A game here tonight.
Yeah, he had the task most of the night, especially early, coming out of timeouts early in the first quarter. His assignment is to check Steph Curry. Lots of switching throughout the night. Right before the end of the first half, Calvin, he really looked like, I need to do more. And up until he had that calf injury, it really looked like he had everything out there. One of the many guys that did not want to see this night end. And unfortunately, I think he knew right when it happened that it was something that was going to impact him. You see him pointing to it almost immediately.
Yes, but the Warriors, and I'm not talking about the Golden State Warriors, a Warrior will, at this time of the year, will fight through little nagging injuries, and this is exactly what he did. He didn't have time to worry about that little nagging hurt. You can ice that tomorrow. He played through it and did a nice job.
Yeah, he certainly did. Rockets, again, a lot of good things that come out of this season, a lot of things that they're clearly going to be able to build on. Calling the game tonight, of course, Craig Ackerman and Ryan Hollins. Ryan Hollins, our analyst, set to join us here. Ryan, as Calvin said a minute ago, heartbreak hotel for a team that pushed this series to a 7th game in front of their home fans and just came up a little short tonight.
Man, we're all feeling the heartbreak right there. Murph said it best. But, man, I'm telling you, what a privilege to watch these kids grow this season. What a privilege to see them work hard and play hard and the way that they push that team. That's a good basketball club on the other side. Make no mistake, this is as stacked as you've ever seen the Western Conference in NBA history. Hear me when I say that, but you guys hit it right on the head. Amen Thompson showed us something, Murph. That he had a different gear. He showed us that when the game is tight, I'm going to make my free throws. I'm going to play on the defensive end, on the offensive end. And for everything that he doesn't know, man, he did everything tonight to look to will this team to victory, even though they came up short.
But, this is why I guess I'm so disappointed because, when you look at the way they've grown, what you just said, the way they've grown as a unit this year and how they came second in the conference, and they deserved to go to the second round. Unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. I think, and you've played the game, you understand what it is when you try too hard sometimes. It becomes a fault. And the game started off, they missed 4 or 5 around the basket layups, trying to push it too hard, and it affected the rest of their offense. Now, the one thing I will say about Thompson, it didn't affect him.
No.
He stayed into the game mentally, which is, at his age, to be on this stage and to come, to the forefront the way he did, he needs to be proud of it. But I tell you, knowing him, he's in the locker room upset because they lost.
Yeah, absolutely. That frustration is going to be there, man. And again, hats off to Steve Kerr. What he came out and said is, are you guys going to shoot enough threes? Are you going to be able to break down our guys one-on-one? And then he said, keep in mind, Sengun been doubled probably the entire season from game one, okay? And he made sure that Draymond Green guarded Alperen Sengun as much as he could. There was nothing special in the game plan defensively from Steve Kerr, but he said, Draymond, go make a play. And he did a good job guarding Sengun and frustrate him. Alp goes in the night only 9 for 23. And, you know, when you play him one-on-one, he's got to be in that 30-plus point range, and we've seen that before. But you hit it right on the head, Murph. There are frustrations because there's a sense that our guys didn't play, I don't want to say as hard, they didn't play up to the standard that we were used to seeing. But, again, Steve Kerr had a big focus on the road, and this is how you win. You control the game, you take your time, you don't turn it over, and you put the ball in your best player's hands to make plays. And Steph did that offensively, and Draymond did it defensively.
Well, you know, when we start talking about how the Rockets, what did they gain out of this game? One of the things I hope they gained is to recognize how the referees are calling the game. They've tried to take the ball several times to the basket. There was a lot of contact. There was no calls. So with a situation like that, you've got to change your direction. I saw a lot of times where we had some middle-range jump shots that we didn't take, trying to force the action, trying to get to the foul line like we did the last couple of games. Well, it didn't happen that way tonight. So they had to learn to recognize how the game is being called, how they're going to, how it's going to impact the game, and what they must do to change their game to meet how the game is being called.
When you consider all those things, Ryan, the things that really stood out to me, the inability to get three-point shots off. That was really the only difference to me between how game one's offense went. Yeah, why do you think it was so difficult for the Rockets to find openings to launch threes?
Well, for Houston, when they get stops, they can push pace. You know, when you're able to push pace, that's where Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green end up getting wide open threes. And then when Sengun gets double teamed or you get into the short roll action, now those threes are there on the weak side. So that's what really took the three ball away. And again, Steve Kerr didn't reinvent the wheel. He played his base defense, and he allowed Draymond, who was excellent, helping and recovering on Alperen Sengun. And it definitely frustrated the night. And they looked to another thing, they really looked to slow the game down.
Well, appreciate it, Ryan. Great stuff.
Tempo.
Always, all season long. You, Craig, and Vanessa obviously doing a tremendous job all the way through this season and more. And we expect even more on into the future. Ryan, appreciate it.
Appreciate it, guys.
The Rockets fall to the Warriors in Game 7 tonight. Talked a lot about their issues offensively. Rockets head coach Ime Udoka meeting with the media after this one.
Theo bạn em mình chuẩn bị tưởng tượng một cái cục con gấu bông. Là mẹ nước.